Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 Nicolas Cage moments.
Nic Cage.
For this list, we're looking at this iconic actor's best movie moments, whether he was wowing us with his dramatic chops or being his batty self. We will, however, be excluding animated voice work, wherein his beautiful face does not appear.
We don't pick the ballroom, we just dance.
Since some of these scenes come in key moments, there will be some spoilers. What's your favorite Nic Cage moment? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Cut some slack. The Rock. You know, we wouldn't have expected Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery to have excellent on-screen chemistry, but here we are. We also wouldn't have expected Cage to be the ostensible straight man in that team-up, but again, here we are.
I'll do my best.
Your best? Losers always whine about their best.
Having said that, you can't cage him for too long before the beast within starts to break out. Playing an otherwise mild-mannered biochemist, Cage's Stanley Goodspeed gets embroiled in a mission to retake Alcatraz from extremists alongside Connery's loose cannon John Mason. After Mason gives Goodspeed the business again and again, the latter starts to show his resolve by barking back in a glorious manner.
Listen, I'm just a biochemist. And most of the time I work in a glass jar and lead a very uneventful life. I drive a Volvo, beige one. But what I'm dealing with here is one of the most deadly substances the Earth has ever known. So what do you say you cut me some friggin' slack?
Number 19. Making a Scene. National Treasure, Book of Secrets. The National Treasure movies are definitely more directed at general audiences, but that is not going to stop Nicolas Cage from going all out when the moment calls for it. In the sequel, the treasure hunt leads the team to infiltrate Buckingham Palace to look for further clues. Upon encountering his ex, Abigail, Ben learns the plan requires making a scene, and he is all too happy to oblige.
Oh, let me guess. It's the wrong time. It's the wrong place. I'm wrong again. Wrong about us. Wrong about Thomas Gates. Wrong that you'd like the Queen Anne chair.
Putting on his best, or should we say worst, English accent, Ben makes sure the guards take him and Abigail to where he wants to go. But not before we get a hilariously over-the-top performance from both Cage and the character.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Been drinking, have we?
Just a nip. Just pop down to the pub for a pint. Bit of all right. Going to arrest the man for that. Going to detain a blighter for enjoying his whiskey.
Number 18. I Want That Cake. The Family Man.
Hey, where's that chocolate cake?
Do you mean this chocolate cake?
This fantasy drama from the turn of the century gets often forgotten among Nicolas Cage's filmography, but it does serve as a good showcase of his more grounded dramatic chops. Still, even in one of his more reserved efforts, audiences are still going to come away with a bit wherein he lets loose. In this scene, Cage's Jack arrives home to find that his alternate reality wife, Kate, has dug into a slice of chocolate cake he'd saved for himself. A playful chase ensues before Jack gets exactly what he asked for.
Ta-da! I want that cake.
You want this cake?
I want it.
Weirdly enough, this scene inspired an animated supercut in the early 2010s, and it definitely manages to capture the zany nature of Nicolas Cage, that's for sure.
I want it.
You want
I want that cake.
I was saving it because I got nauseated by that pre-cooked mini malt rotisserie chicken.
It's good.
Give me that cake.
Number 17. Grilling the Chef. Pig. The most recent entry on this list, Pig showcases one of Nicolas Cage's best performances in over a decade. A formerly renowned chef turned reclusive truffle forager, Cage's Rob goes on a resolute quest to locate his beloved pig after it gets pignapped. His journey takes him into Portland, where at one point he reunites with Derek, a former protege of his. A man of few words, Rob makes every one count here as he calmly criticizes Derek for foregoing his culinary dream to open a generic fusion restaurant.
None of it is real. The critics aren't real. The customers aren't real. Because this isn't real. You aren't real.
While it's Derek that adopts the manic facial expressions, it's Cage that owns this scene, as he bears deep into the man's soul in order to get the information he wants.
We don't get a lot of things to really care about.
Number 16. Desert Tunes. Wild at Heart. There's not a lot of actors that can out-Cage Nicolas Cage, but Laura Dern definitely holds her own in this crime movie from the early 90s.
Hey, my snakeskin jacket! Thanks, baby! Did I ever tell you that this here jacket represents a symbol of my individuality and my belief in personal freedom?
About 50,000 times.
In it, she and Cage play lovers Lula and Sailor who go on the run together, prompting a bounty to be put on Sailor's head. Lots of humorous black comedy moments ensue, but our favorite is a little one that comes about halfway through.
I can't take no more of this radio. I never heard so much shit in all my life.
Disenchanted by all the dour radio broadcasts, Lula pulls over, desperate for a palate cleanser. Sailor finds a heavy metal station, and the two let loose in the best way. As if it wasn't animated enough, the car flip Cage performs to start the bit is just the cherry on top. Number 15, Lowrider, Gone in 60 Seconds. We all need a choice track to pump us up every now and again, though we wouldn't necessarily choose Lowrider by the funk band War.
Lowrider, Donnie. Donnie, Lowrider.
Gone in 60 Seconds is definitely one of Nicolas Cage's more straight-laced action vehicles, no pun intended, but it still does well to get in some classic Cagey asides in there. One comes as his character Memphis Reigns preps his team of thieves before they set out to boost 50 cars in 12 hours. Rather than go for another headbanger of some kind, Memphis opts for the aforementioned classic before heading out.
Okay, let's run.
It's a quirky moment, but one that obviously does the trick as the crew pulls off the heist in time. Well, almost. Number 14, Airport Jail, Honeymoon in Vegas. Before Nicolas Cage was winning an Oscar for leaving Las Vegas, he was having his honeymoon in Vegas. Well, his character Jack was trying to anyway, before another suitor came in and whisked his potential bride off to Hawaii. Indeed, Jack goes through quite the ordeal in Honeymoon, as he desperately tries to book a flight to the Aloha State, only to be stymied by an obnoxious man at the counter. The man, played by esteemed character actor Ben Stein, takes a frustratingly long time buying a ticket, to the point that Jack has to cut in.
Please, sir, if you don't get back on...
Then what? I'll be arrested? Put in airport jail? Just get your ticket and move on, okay? Get your goddamn ticket and move on!
Needless to say, if this movie took place today, Jack would have absolutely been taken to airport jail. Number 13, Donald's Pitch, Adaptation. Adaptation is definitely a weird, adaptation. But one would nowadays expect nothing less from screenwriter Charlie Kaufman. In it, Nicolas Cage plays a fictionalized version of Kaufman, who similarly struggles to adapt a book into a movie. However, he also plays Kaufman's actually fictional twin brother Donald, who, though dim-witted, may just be an even better writer. While Charlie struggles with writer's block and self-loathing, Donald has a breakthrough and pitches him a pretty out-there psychological thriller.
Here's the twist. We find out that the killer really suffers from multiple personality disorder, right? See, he's actually really the cop and the girl. All of them are him.
This scene exemplifies just how good Cage can be with only himself to work off of, playing two distinct sides to the same coin.
I agree with Mom. Very taut. Sybil meets, I don't know, Dress to Kill. Cool. I really like Dress to Kill. Until the third act denouement. That's not how it's pronounced.
Number 12, Shooting Hit Girl, Kick-Ass. Out of context, a Nicolas Cage character shooting an 11-year-old girl at point-blank range may not seem like a scene from a superhero movie, but such is the subversive nature of Kick-Ass.
The force is going to take you off your feet for sure, but it's really no more painful than a punch in the chest.
How are you getting punched in the chest?
You're going to be fine, baby doll.
Having recruited his daughter to aid him in his masked crusade of revenge, Damon wants to make sure Mindy can take a bullet, so he shoots her. It's a pretty shocking moment, until it's revealed that Mindy was wearing a bulletproof vest. Still, the mere visual of this, plus the unassuming nature of the character, make it classic Cage. While he may not be Father of the Year, Big Daddy definitely knows how to instruct a sidekick, even when he's burning alive.
Take cover, Jack! Not switch!
Number 11. Dancing Soul, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. Whether or not you associate this movie with Harvey Keitel's Bad Lieutenant from 1992, Nicolas Cage absolutely makes this one his own.
Nobody saw me come in. Nobody knows I'm here. This old woman's gonna run out of air, and you're gonna have a tough time convincing people that it wasn't you who did it to her.
From threatening a pair of elderly women to hallucinating a pair of iguanas, there's no question that the drug-addled Lieutenant Terrence McDonough is off his rocker. But the best scene comes when he visits gang leader Big Fate. After McDonough gets thoroughly hopped up, a rival gangster bursts in and attempts to take the score. Unfortunately for him, Big Fate's hidden gun turns the tables before they eliminate the threat. McDonough's not satisfied, however, claiming he can still see the man's soul.
Shoot him again.
What for?
His soul's still dancing.
Now that is what we call a spiritual double tap. Number 10. Diaper Robbery, Raising Arizona.
Wake up, son. I've been taking these Huggies and whatever cash you got.
This Coen Brothers classic is partially responsible for giving us the Nicolas Cage we know and love today. In it, he plays career criminal Herbert I. McDonough, aka Hi, who marries a police officer played by Holly Hunter. Unable to have kids, the two kidnap and attempt to raise a baby, only to find themselves struggling to make ends meet. Tempted, Hi returns to his thieving ways by holding up a convenience store for register cash and some diapers. Honestly, there's something about him hightailing it from cops with a pack of Huggies and pantyhose over his head that's just so Nicolas Cage. Number 9. Scraping at the Door, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. Though they may not have been very good, Nicolas Cage went full Cage with his Ghost Rider movies. The second one, Spirit of Vengeance, is going to be either better or worse depending on your outlook. It's worse as a comic book movie, but it might be better based on its more pronounced Cageisms. Take, for instance, this cutaway, in which Johnny Blaze describes what it's like to pee as Ghost Rider.
Oh, it's awesome. It's like a flamethrower, you know, it's like...
But the scene that shows off Cage at his most Cage comes when he interrogates an associate of the villains. The way he exemplifies how close he's coming to going full Rider is maniacally beautiful, and we would not have it any other way.
Scraping at the door! Scraping at the door!
Number 8. I Lost My Hand, Moonstruck. Though you wouldn't think it, Nicolas Cage's over-the-top acting actually works for this Oscar-winning rom-com. He plays Ronnie, the main love interest to Cher's Loretta Castorini, who is also an avid opera enthusiast. It's this fanaticism that's reflected in Cage's performance, as Ronnie is often prone to dramatic displays of emotion. Take, for instance, this scene, in which Ronnie reveals to Loretta that his fiancée broke up with him after he lost his hand in an accident supposedly caused by his brother.
I lost my hand! I lost my bride! Johnny has his hand! Johnny has his bride! You want me to take my heartbreak, put her away, and forget?
At this point in the movie, Ronnie is clearly still heartbroken over the loss of his hand and his love. Even as he and Loretta begin to develop a romance of their own, however, Cage's ardent performance persists as Ronnie remains consistently theatrical.
Where are you taking me?
To the bed.
Oh, God.
Number 7. The Bunny, Con Air. Somehow, in a bombastic movie all about a plane being hijacked by some of the most dangerous criminals in the country, Cage's character, the convicted Cameron Poe, isn't over the top whatsoever. Well, unless you count that accent.
On any other day, that might seem strange.
In any case, Poe has to keep his identity as a discharged combat veteran and essentially good guy under wraps. But things take a turn when another convict, Bedford, comes across his belongings. Among them is a stuffed bunny rabbit that Poe intends to give his estranged daughter, which he sternly implores Bedford to put back.
I said, put the bunny back in the box.
The ensuing fight is great and all, but it's Cage's delivery that turns this otherwise innocuous line into an iconic one.
Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
Number 6. Thrashing About, Deadfall. Deadfall is probably Nicolas Cage's worst movie, but in all honesty, he's really the only interesting thing in it. Indeed. In an otherwise dully serious crime drama, Cage's performance is way, way, way out there.
Put the gun down,
In Deadfall, Michael Biehn stars as con artist Joe, who joins up with his uncle Lou after the death of his father. Joe's presence in Lou's life upends that of Lou's lackey Eddie, played by Nicolas Cage. After Eddie learns that Joe's taking his place and possibly his lady, he throws quite the tantrum. It's one of those performances that practically precludes another actor from working off it. But seeing the quality of the rest of the film, it can only be an improvement.
I know what this is! Lou trying to stop me out because of his crazy little nephew being around!
Number 5. Bathroom Breakdown. Mandy. After something of a career lull in the early to mid-2010s, the end of the decade saw a returned appreciation for Nicolas Cage's idiosyncratic brand of acting. A Cage-iest, if you will. That all began with Mandy, a cerebral, brutal, psychedelic horror flick into which he fits perfectly. After witnessing a cult murder his eponymous girlfriend, Red tends to his wounds in a bathroom. There's something about a bloody Nicolas Cage drinking a bottle of vodka and screaming in nothing but tube socks, tighty-whities, and a tiger shirt that speaks to us. But credit Cage for turning his shrieks into cries, presenting to us the full range of emotions his character's undergoing. Number 4. Pharmacy Scene. Matchstick Men. Matchstick Men has what has to be Nicolas Cage's most underrated performance. Again playing a con man, this time he shows another side of his eccentricities, as his character Roy suffers greatly from various disorders, primarily OCD.
Look, Doc, I spent last Tuesday watching fibers on my carpet. And the whole time I was watching my carpet, I was worrying that I might vomit. And the whole time I was thinking, I'm a grown man. I should know what goes on in my head.
Throughout the movie, Roy becomes more and more content with his place in life as he develops a loving relationship with his estranged daughter. However, things unravel quickly when Roy runs out of medication. Bursting into the pharmacy, Roy berates one of the other patrons in line with one of Cage's craziest lines ever.
Hey, buddy, ever heard of a line?
Hey, have you ever been dragged to the sidewalk and beat until you pissed blood?
Though not indicative of the whole movie, things only escalate further when Roy learns that his meds were only ever placebos.
These are supplements.
What?
This packet contains supplements, sir.
No. My doctor gave those to me. They're prefect.
Number 3. Hallelujah. Face Off. Castor Troy is easily one of Nicolas Cage's best characters, even when he's being played by John Travolta.
I'd like to take his face off.
Before the whole face-swapping thing that gives the movie its title, Castor is introduced as one of the most sociopathic criminal masterminds you'll ever meet. After arming a bomb in a public space, Castor relishes his priest disguise by playing it up in front of a choir. With the choir singing Hallelujah, Castor re-enters the scene with a head gyration that is everything. As if that wasn't showboaty enough, Castor approaches a choir girl and gets more than a little handsy, giving an expression that can only be saying, well, hallelujah.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Number 2. The ABCs of Cage. Vampire's Kiss. We all know our ABCs, but here's Nicolas Cage to remind us anyway. While the bulk of this horror comedy details yuppie Peter Lowe's pseudo-transition into a vampire, a subplot involves his horrid treatment of his secretary Alva when he tasks her with the impossible task of locating a misplaced file.
I couldn't think of a more horrible job if I wanted to. And you have to do it. You have to, or I'll fire you. Do you understand?
Through a mix of his nascent vampirism and frustration over Alva's inability to find the file, Lowe becomes more and more unhinged. He even has to vent to his therapist about how easy it should be to alphabetize files.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K,
to say, Nicolas Cage gives a lot of gloriously meme-worthy moments in this performance, and his mistreatment of Alva continues even after she's found the thing.
Too late! Too late! Too late! Too late! It's too late, Alva! It's all too late, Alva!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Bees, The Wicker Man. There are probably a lot of fans of the original Wicker Man who were miffed over the remake, and rightly so. But once you resign yourself to its quality, you might just find that Nicolas Cage has something else entirely to offer in another joyously batty performance. Hell, where else are you gonna see someone in a bear costume punch a lady in the face?
What is it? What's wrong, sister?
Still, the Bees de Resistance comes when his character is captured by the pagan cult. Long story. Preparing to sacrifice him, the cult takes to torturing him with bees, and his reaction is wonderfully over the top.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Open my eyes!
This sequence only appears in the alternate cut, but thanks to the internet, Cage's brilliance will live on in posterity. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.